Okay, hello, my name's Sherelle, and I'm
Hi,
going to be your
Shay.
interviewer today.
Hi, Shay.
And what's your name?
I'm Glen.
Glen. Alright, hi Glen.
Hi.
Okay, we're just going to talk about the 1980s and how it was for you. So, what did you do like for fun? Like, what was your social life like?
In the 80s, well, basically, music come to the front line of the 80s for me because, well, after leaving school, I had a job as a civil servant.
That's a good
Trafalgar
job.
Square, yeah, I was a civil servant.
Yeah.
Straight into work after school. I spent probably about 2.5 years in the superannuation department, dealing with pension, old people pension and stuff. But even when I was in that job, I knew that music was my first love. Even when I was at school, I used to do school concerts. So leaving the civil servant, I went straight back into my music life. I was a singer-songwriter, producer at certain time of my music career. So in the 80s for me, music was the thing for me. I was a lovers rock singer. I write my own stuff, put out my own stuff, do performances and things like that in the 80s. So it was all about music for me in the 80s.
Yeah. So, did you know like a lot of other musicians of that time, of that era as well?
Oh yeah, sure. Errol Dunkley was a family friend. He was a great singer in his time. We teamed up together and did some recordings. So Errol, you have Winston Reedy, guys like that who really and truly inspire me in the music world.
Yeah. So they helped you to like write your songs and continue.
Not really write my songs, but to basically give me the inspiration to carry on as a singer.
Okay.
Because they were my idols
Yeah.
back in the days, singers like John Holt, Gregory Isaac. Those are the guys who I learned from,
Yeah.
vocally
Yeah.
in the music world.
So would you say that that consumed most of your social life, like in that time?
Yes, it was. Music was the first thing for me back in those times. Because I made my first hit record in 1978, a song called "All That Glitters Not Gold,"
Okay.
and another one called "Lonely Soldier."
Yeah.
And those two songs was big hits back in the 70s.
Yeah. Okay. And then you mentioned you were a civil servant as well, and that's like recognized as like a good job. So I mean, was that hard to obtain? Like in that era, or like how did you get that job? Or
Well, I left school with 6 O levels. When I left school, I had 6 O levels. So basically, it's my teacher basically who got me into that position as a civil servant.
yeah.
Work in the superannuation department. It was a great thing for me because I probably was about 19 at the time.
Yeah.
Because I stayed on school until the upper 6, because I was a prefect at school as well, so I used to look after the younger kids in school.
Yeah.
So, that was a great thing.
Yeah. So it was like through a link. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
How was it like actually working like within that kind of like system or field? I mean, did you get looked down upon or?
It was difficult for me to start with, basically, because there was a white guy there who I became friends with in the civil service.
Yeah.
He sort of, in respect, he showed me certain things that I didn't know.
Okay. What,
Yeah.
do you mean within the job?
Dealing with the job,
Okay, yeah.
basically. he was set for that reason,
Yeah.
you know, to watch me grow.
Oh, okay.
It was great.
Yeah. Oh, that's good that you got like his support.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how was like your housing conditions? Like who did you live with at the time?
At the time, I was living at home. We had a family home in Brixton, Acre Lane,
Okay.
Solon Road.
I don't know the road, but I know it.
Yeah, Solon Road was my family home.
Okay.
My grandmother and my mother. We had about 6 bedrooms because
that's a
the
lot.
stairs just keep going up, you know.
Yeah.
It was a lot of stairs to climb.
Yeah.
So on that part, it's like my gran made sure that, you know, she set that up for us, you know, as her grandkids. You know, because she sent for my mother from Jamaica, right? Well, then my mother sent for me and my sister. And we came here into that family home. When I came here, I had another 4 brothers and 1 sister.
Oh, what, in London?
In London,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Because I came to Jamaica and meet my other half of family. So yeah, the housing part of things was good for me because, you know, we were comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. And so did those other siblings live with you, the ones that you had here?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. My
so
brothers and sisters was
Yeah.
here.
So was that like good, like growing up with siblings and people around you?
Yeah, because I was the eldest boy from 7. So it's like my younger brothers, I had to take them in hand and show them the ropes in a sense that I brought them up in a sense.
Yeah.
You understand? Because they look up to me as a bigger brother,
Yeah.
you know, and always coming to me for advice.
Yeah.
And I try and advise them the best way possible.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, childhood days growing up was good in the 80s.
Yeah.
How was the housing for you after leaving home?
How old was I?
How was the housing? How did you find housing when you left home?
Housing, it was a struggle, to be quite honest. At the time, the reason why I decided to leave home is because I felt that my parents didn't really want me to do the things that I wanted to do. So I decided, look, I'm leaving, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a big man now, so I'm going to find my own way. And, you know, I was into girls and I couldn't bring a girlfriend home because parents wouldn't allow me.
Yeah.
I remember one night I wanted to go partying.
Yeah.
So I said to one of my brothers, hey, look out for me because I'm going through the window. I'm going to climb through the window and I'm going out. Anyway, this is really funny. Yeah, I got my clothes on now,
Yeah.
through the window, go and meet my friends, partying, coming home now, coming back through the same window because I asked my brother to leave the window open.
Yeah.
Coming back through the same window, as I push my head through the window, a can just reached me in my head. My grandmother, why will you sneak out of the house for? And it's like beaten that night,
Yeah.
you know, but I was out and I enjoyed myself anyway. So getting the beating, you know.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it getting the beating. So yeah, you know, it was great.
So when you did move out, was it like just a 1-bedroom like flat or house?
1 bedroom, it's not even that.
Oh,
A
okay.
good friend of mine
Yeah.
knew that I was struggling house-wise, you know, I didn't have nowhere to live. Master Sidney McGee, he took me in hand, he took me into his house with his wife and family.
Okay.
Yeah, and he actually took care of me
Yeah.
for a few years, you know, showed me what life is about, to be quite honest. You know, he fed me, you know, give me money in my pocket and things like that. It was really hard at them times, but it was good to know that you had a friend who could have looked after you and, you know, give you some helping hand, basically.
Yeah. So how was the riots for you?
The riot for me, personally, I wasn't one who got involved in the riot, but I knew about the riot. When the riot came, basically I was living in Luton.
Oh, okay. Is that where you said you moved to? With your friend? Is that where you moved to with your friend?
No, I moved to Luton because of a relationship.
Right, okay.
And I was living in Luton for about 8 years. But when the riot came, I was in Luton. All I knew about the riot was what I read in the newspapers and what I saw on the news.
Okay.
Which, yeah, it was terrifying, to see all that brutality and vandalization and everything else. Couldn't understand why at the time, but long after I realized that it's just basically people are rebelling from the way they were treated,
So when you was living in Brixton, you never got treated?
No. Funny enough, to be quite honest, I've never been through any, as far as I can remember, direct racial abuse or anything like that. Maybe people call it odd names, and I was never a person to jump and fight and things like that. You call me a name, it's only words, so I'll move on. But if you physically attack me, then I'll react. So for me, it wasn't a problem, to be quite honest.
And then what about your family? Was they in the riots then?
No, as far as I know, because of the way my parents has brought us up, we basically wasn't nowhere near it. Even though my family was living in Brixton. Because as I say, our family home was Solon Road, Acre Lane. And the way we was brought up, I guess that's what helped us to stay away from that day.
Did the SOSLA not affect you during that time when the SOSLA was out?
So I was a victim of the SOSLA. And
Where were you living at the time?
it's really strange. The SOSLA, I was in London, here. I'll give you a story. I was coming home from my civil service work, suit and tie, all looking really trash and respectable. I was aboarding a train to get home in the rush hour. And as I stepped on the train, basically going on the train, I felt a drag, in my jacket, pulled me off the train. And when I look around, 3 or 4 men was around me. And they saying, "We are arresting you." And I'm saying, "What? Arresting me? For what?" They said, they're trying to say that I was about to steal somebody's purse or whatever. And I'm saying, "You're crazy. I'm on my way home from work, and you're doing this to me." I said, "This is not right, So they said to me that, no, they put my arm down my back, put me in handcuffs. And I'm saying, "Look, guys, what you doing to me here? I'm on my way from work going home, and you're arresting me like this. What are you charging me for?" He said that I was about to steal somebody's purse. And I said, "You're mad, you're crazy. This is not true." So I said, I flashed my pass and ID and said, "Look, this is my ID and this is where I work. Yes, I just finished work and I'm heading home." But not much came of it. I think they got me to court, and I think the judge basically threw it out because I had good backings with me. I was a well-respectable person coming home from work that evening when they fling the SOSLA on me. So the court threw it out, basically. Another time, The same Soslo, yeah. Me and 3 friends, we went to Clapham Junction. We had a venue that night, so we decided we're going to buy some new clothes. So we went to Clapham Junction. There was a famous shop at the junction there that we go and get our outfits. While we were in the shop, we were just looking around to see what we're going to buy. We have our money, to buy our clothes. A good friend of mine, Charlton, Paul, they're all in the music business as well. Anyway, we were in the shop, looking around, choosing our clothes. Few men walk in as usual. What are you doing here? I said, we're here, we're shopping. Then, while we're in the shop, there's another 2 or 3 men walk in after talking to 3 guys before that. Mind you, it was 3 of us, okay? One of them turned to my good friend Charlton and say, we heard that you've just stole something. We heard or we see that you just stole. I said, don't be silly. We are here buying our clothes to go out tonight. Simple thing. They said, no, you're not. You're coming with us. I wasn't a fighter. But my other 2 friends retaliate because they were pushed around and dragged and, it all became nasty. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's 2 guys holding me one side while this was carrying on. Anyway, they took us in a van. I think they call it the doggy van or something back then. And 2 guys was questioning me and saying, what have I done with it? I'm saying, what have I done with what? They searched me, they searched every pocket on my garments. They found nothing but money and keys. Anyway, they're trying to say that we had drugs and we were stealing stuff from the shop. No evidence, because we haven't bought anything yet. We were just looking to sort out, what clothes we're gonna get to wear. Anyway, they separated us at this point. So Charlton was in one van and Paul was in another van and I was in another van. Basically, one of the policemen really get violent on me and he slapped me in my face for no reason, because I'm not a violent person. I wasn't there to argue and rant and rave because I know I was an innocent person. He slapped me in my face and said, "Shut up, you black bastard." It was mad. It was really mad. Anyway, they took us to the police station. And I couldn't have been I was probably about 18, 19 at the time. And they took us to the police station, lock us up separately. But it's like we could have had conversation with each other because we were alongside each other. And Charlton said to me, "Hey Glenn, you all right?" I said, "Yeah. What they doing to us here?" And Charlton, if I remember rightly, Charlton said, "Yeah, they said that we was trying to steal stuff." And we know it's not true. But we asked if we could make a phone call because we want our parents to know this. They refused. They said no. Anyway, I think the news went around for passerbys because there was a big crowd gathering at the shop and people recognized us. So it went to our parents, and that's how our parents knew and came to the station. And I think they didn't charge me, they didn't charge Paul, but they charged Charlton. The three of us was there innocent. You know, if Charlton was stealing, then I was stealing. And Paul was stealing. Because we were all together. Only getting our outfit to go out and have a good time the same night. And they spoiled it for us. We end up in court, the three of us. I think they gave Charlton 6 months and something like 2 years probation or something like that, or a year, but I can't remember exactly. Nothing happened to me, nothing happened to Paul. So basically it was all a setup. It was not true. You know, so basically that's my experience of the Suslo.
So you said that happened before you moved to Luton?
Yeah,
So
all this happened during my civil service work.
Yeah. So you also said that you didn't understand like the reason for the riots, but wouldn't that have been like something that you know what I mean?
At the time,
That
as I
would've been
said,
understandable?
at the time I didn't understand the riot thing at the time, but it all basically.
Like, do you think if you were still in London, do you think you would have been part of it? Because of like your.
No, I know for a fact that I wouldn't have been a part of it, because the person I am, I wouldn't have got involved. I might have probably stay a far distance and watch what's going on, but I wouldn't got involved. I would not got involved because it's not my thing, you know. It's not my thing. My parents brought me up in a way that to stay away from trouble.
Yeah.
And this is why I know that I wouldn't have got involved.
Yeah. Okay.
But there are guys who wasn't fortunate as I was to stay away, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know.
What sort of music did you used to play?
Me, I was a reggae singer and still am. My music career stemmed from 1970 until this day. I've had a few reggae hits, Lonely Soldier, All That Glitters Not Gold, Let's Love, 80's. I've done a lot of performances over my time in the music. You know, I write and produce my own stuff. I'm working on an album to be released sometime this year. So the love of music is still in my heart, you know.
What sort of venues have you played?
Quite a lot of live shows I did over the years. My last big show was at O2 Greenwich. I was a part of. Yeah, this is this is one. Yeah, this is one of my songs.
This is one of the ones that you said that was a hit.
This story is often told. That glitter is not gold. Judge not a book by its cover. After reading it, you'll discover you can't go by the outward appearance. You have to know what goes on inside. All that glitter is not gold. This story is often told. All that glitter is not gold. This story is often told. Thank you.
Beautiful, brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, music is my life, you know.
Yeah.
It's a love that I've really developed at a young age. I've been singing music from I was probably about 9 years old. I did a lot of shows at school, even when I was in Jamaica, because I was born and bred in Jamaica. I came here when I was 12. And I've been singing from I was in Jamaica. A lot of school concerts. I knew a lot of singers in the business at that tender age. I had a cousin who was in a group called the Melodians. If you guys remember a song called Rivers of Babylon, yeah, my cousins, the Melodians, who wrote and sung that. And I think a English artist made it to #1. Is it Boney M or something?
Yes.
Rivers of Babylon, yeah. That's my cousin song. So I come from a music-based family. My mother was a singer with John Holt, the great John Holt. She used to do harmonies, backing vocals for John Holt. My grandmother was a great singer in her time. Yeah, it's a music family. I've got 2 brothers who sing as well, Andrew and Lloyd Sloley. They're all over the Facebook pages. Yeah, music.
What was your thoughts about the music of the 80s?
Music in the 80s was great. It's not so good now because the reggae music business has changed rapidly over the years. In the 80s, people used to enjoy basically going out and see an artist perform. They used to pay their money to go and see an artist perform. They used to queue up at record shops to buy reggae music. It's not like that anymore. It's all about the internet now. And so music business now is different and it's not much money into it at this time. In the 80s, reggae artists was getting paid. You know, you could live really good as a reggae artist back in the days because I was living a great life with my music world back then. Other artists, I can vouch for them as well, guys who I knew, the Winston Reedy, the Trevor Walters. You must have heard of Trevor Walters. He had an international hit. You must have heard of Ken Booth. He had an international hit. What's the other guy's name? Tipper Irie. You must have heard of Tipper Irie. There was another guy who died a couple of years ago. What's his name again? He used to record for Fashion Label. His name slipped me. But yeah, in the 80s, reggae music was at its best at that time. My first hit song was made in 1978. Yeah, many miles from home, with a heart that's heavy and a will that's strong. Behind I left a woman so dear to me, yeah. Now I'm off to fight a war that they say will make man free. I'm a lonely soldier. I'm a lonely soldier. I'm a lonely soldier. Want somebody have mercy on me. Yeah. Thank you. Music was my life, and you know, as I say, it still is. I still do performances, and I still basically doing recordings as well.
Did you have in the 80s? Is it like did fame and fortune come around? Like when you walk down the street, people?
Oh yeah, you know, I tell you what, I have shows when women were throwing their knickers at me. Yeah, I had days like that, you know. But I know it's brand new panties they go out and buy. It's crazy. Funny enough, I used to have a bodyguard to see me through the crowd, because there were times that I go performing and people just pulling me back, don't want me to go on stage and things. So I had a bodyguard at a certain time to guide me through the crowd to get on stage. Sydney knows this, because we've been friends for years. You know, he also guided me through my music life, make sure that people don't take liberties and stuff like that. Because at the time, there was a lot of that going on. You know, you probably do your work and you don't get your full amount of pay. So Sydney was part of that for me back in them days. Otherwise from that, performances for me was great, because it's like I'm in a different world when I'm on stage. You know, I love to see the crowd, how they react when I'm performing. You know, if you guys tune in to YouTube, type in Glen Sloley, you'll see all my stage work, and you'll see how the crowd just go wild about my performance. You know, it's yeah, music is great. Performances, I love it.
Amazing. Anything else? Anyone else got any questions? No, we good? You're about to cut.
Yeah, thank you.